Right now we're behind the back of a Peterbilt tractor, and I want to show you a couple things in the back of this thing where it's actually giving us good access to visualize how the suspension works. It's got an air ride suspension. There's a couple components you want to check out when you're disconnected from your trailer, make sure that they're working properly, they're not leaking. And one other suspension component that we have really clear access to that you should be checking regularly, especially if you're disconnected. It's one of those things where it might not be obvious that there's an issue until there's a major issue. Come in here close and show you real fast, but we do have a suspension air leveling valve right here. What this does is it has a lever that's attached to this air valve that links up to the rear axle, the drive axle. So when the chassis and the suspension separate from each other, when there's a difference in height, it's going to add or remove some pressure to these suspension airbags. You know, it just makes for a nice comfortable ride. It's a nice setup in these Peterbilts. So you do have two air suspension bags in the back, rear of the farthest axle. You have two more for the first drive axle, and they do work in tandem. There should be another leveling valve in the front, but I know for sure there is one right here. And when you want to look at it is you want to make sure that your air lines are not getting chafed. You can look at them visually, you can look to see where there's sometimes, like on this one, there's zip ties. You want to make sure there's no chafes in the air lines. You want to listen for leaks. If you see anything or hear anything that might need a little closer inspection, you can actually use like a soapy water, spray it on there with a spray bottle, and look for air bubbles. You know, those are things that can help you prevent breakdowns, DOT violations, issues down the road. Just as a side note, like I said, I want to show you the suspension component. It's a torque rod. They call it a torque rod, they call it a dog bone, they call it a bunch of different things. But this rod right here, what that's doing is that's stabilizing the twisting force and the torque of this engine and chassis suspension. So when those bushings go bad or if the rod breaks, you're going to have a lot more flex in your chassis. Again, you might not feel that on day one, but when you have too much flex, you have other things that break. When you're disconnected from your trailer, do a good solid inspection. Check those air lines, check the airbags, check those torque rods. A little extra thing that you can do.